another installment of real stories of my real estate experiences. I had a client who was moving to the Philadelphia area from Arizona. And at our very first phone call, I talked to him about a lot of the things that I normally talk to him about, including offering him the opportunity to speak with some local lenders whom I could put him in touch with. He wasn't interested. He said he had a relationship with a bank there, and that's who he was going to use. So he comes, and we were looking around at houses, and he and his wife find a house that they are interested in putting an offer on. So I write up all the paperwork, including the estimate of closing costs. When he receives it, he calls me and he says, "These costs are way off. My lender gave me an estimate for what closing costs would be on a house in this price range, and your numbers are way high." And I asked him if he would send me what his lender had sent him. And as I knew, the closing cost estimate from the lender was based on a national average. Pennsylvania has really high closing costs. And I had to call my client back, and I went through line by line with him the costs. And he was understandably very unpleasantly surprised. And he kept asking me why the closing costs are so high. And while I couldn't tell him why, the fact is they are what they are. And the responsibilities are his, and that's why he has to sign the paper. So that is why, even if you don't end up using a local lender, it's always a really good idea to talk to somebody local who knows how everything works. I actually had another client who was in a similar situation, and what his lender did was assumed that the real estate transfer tax was all the responsibility of the seller. So he didn't have any of the transfer tax in the buyer's column of closing costs. And I had to correct him and explain to both that lender and the buyer that in Pennsylvania, the total real estate transfer tax is split evenly between buyer and seller. So please do yourself a favor and at least talk to a local lender and find out what you need to so that you're not blindsided.